Hello everyone and welcome back to today's video. Now today we will be getting into working with WordPress. As you can see here, I've actually spun up a WordPress instance within my Kubernetes swarm, and we've got MariaDB on its own instance. I didn't want to hook it up to our central database since it is just an example here. And then we've got WordPress itself. This is done with an ingress using traffic, and then this one I believe is on a cluster IP address. We didn't give it a load balancer IP. Regardless, though, it is active. We got Let's Encrypt certificates enrolled and set up already, all just within one Helm chart. I'll leave it in the description if you guys want to check it out. But regardless, our WordPress instance is online. It's been installed. As you can see here, this is all just the example stuff that will come with your WordPress instance when you set it up. But we'll want to get it configured, get it set up for whatever we may be, advertising or showing off. And we'll make sure to get it secured, make sure we're not, getting any attacks coming in, and we can protect against any potential threats out in the internet. If you're not fully aware, there is plenty of WordPress scanners per se. And actually, I'll show you guys that here in a second. But WordPress is probably one of the most hunted for applications I've seen. I don't know in terms of numbers if it is truly the one, but there's nothing more I've seen in my system logs than WordPress scanning. So we'll get into this. I'll show you guys how to secure it, get it set up, and get the ball rolling. So just to show you guys here, one of the most favorite tools I love to use is Gray Noise. They have a lot of sensors and hosts around there that kind of monitor the internet and traffic that comes in. And one of these I love to look at. They monitor CVEs, they monitor different bots, what's trending, what's going on. So as you can see here, back in 2020, monitoring CVE 2020 11738. Wow, I cannot speak. You can see here, nothing's been monitored within the last 24 hours. We look at 30 days, nothing. But it has come up before. Malicious intention, as you can see. We go back here real quick. Come on. Let's see. We can't search anything recent, can we? Go this one. This is 2024. But basically, my point here being that when you enroll and get your WordPress instance set up, you're going to have a lot of hits. I mean, these are all just things that Gray Noise has picked up. WordPress enumeration, for example, trying to scan through your system, see what's available, if they can escalate, see what's attached to your author, all sorts of stuff. So, but yes, my point being, you want to ensure your WordPress instance is always up to date with the latest security patches, but also B, that any plugins you do have are also updated but protected against. There's a lot of common settings on WordPress that you may overlook, and you want to make sure that you're hardening them, making sure that no threats can get in. Otherwise, you may end up with a WordPress instance that is just throwing spam out there. Your SEO could tank, all sorts of things. And just to clarify, I'm no SEO expert, but Google isn't going to exactly like it when you're, putting out a bunch of backlinks and garbage websites on your WordPress instance, basically without your consent. There's a lot of logic behind it. I am looking into a bit of SEO studying, I guess, but yeah, my point being, make sure to secure it, and yeah, so let's get into it. Stop talking shit and dig in. Okay, so getting set up on our first part of it, you'll want to head to your IP address or your domain for WordPress, and you'll want to do /wp admin. So just to clarify here, it'll look just like this, and I'll direct you to the login. And then we'll use our demonstration credentials I've enrolled into from our Helm chart. And once we log in here, we'll be greeted with the WordPress dashboard. Now, depending on your network speed as well as your drive speed, it may take a minute to load. Sure, we'll just add it. Why not? But now that we're available, we're ready to go. We can now go into appearance and themes. And we'll just get into this and I'll show you guys. So first, make sure our theme is up to date. Themes can have vulnerabilities too, depending on how much logic is behind it and such. But we'll customize it. We'll dig in here. So from here, we can essentially change how our front page looks. So do we want to show text here? Get started. Or maybe we want to show photos. So, or maybe we want to show something completely different. I can't spell either. But, so now we'll build our page around this, and we'll change our assets, make it look a little more genuine rather than just some example page out there. So this is sample page, which I believe, let me check here. Yes. Yep, that is our, okay, yes, this is our sample page. Some themes do the home page on a different page, and then you go there and this and that, whatever. But we'll go ahead and save it for now. And I said save, please. There we go. And we'll go back. And let's see here. Okay. So this will be our main front page, our home page. So we'll put in heading, tagline. Words. Okay, so now we have this element completed. We can click on the button, and maybe we want to change it. So, oh, no, go away. Okay, so now that we have our button set up, we can add a link to it. So do we want to go dual.com just as an example? I'll show you guys what that looks like here in a minute. And then maybe you want to change the image. We can go replace, open the media library, where you may have example photos loaded, usually from your other themes, or you can also upload a file into the system here. So for just an example, I will load up a photo of Lilo. So let this load up and just refresh this. There we go. And there you go. Well, that was a blurry photo. We'll use it anyways. But now we have essentially the basics on our top part of the page. So we have the heading, which we've customized. We just clicked into it. We have our little tagline, a basic button, and then a photo. And if we want to replace that photo, just replace. We can open the media library to replace it with something that's already in the website itself, or we can upload something from our computer. Okay, now we have our front page set up. This demonstrates what we're talking about. It's absolutely nothing, but it represents a little bit of what we're doing here. We basically just made some basic content, something that shows what our website's about, and some content, which is our images, and we can optionally include videos if we choose to, but I don't have any clips I can at least upload right now, so just images. So we got this here, we got taglines, we got summary points, we got random images, we got Dr. House and the horse thing from My Little Pony. I don't know why this is on my drive. And then we got our tagline with a post here, which is the first post that will always show up when you install WordPress. Just a hello world test showing, what you can do, what you can comment on, things like that. Now, here is one of the key things that these bots, per se, like to do, these scam, spam, whatever you want to call it. You'll have posts on WordPress, right? Now, if we open this up in a incognito browser, demonstration.nerdherd.wtf, I'll show you guys. First, dark mode's off. I don't have that extension installed in private mode. Now, if we go down to here, you can leave a reply. Yes, you probably want to open that up, especially if you have, a big community that wants to ask questions. However, there is no CAPTCHA. There's no spam checking. I could leave 6 million comments on, this one post, spamming it with all my images, all my, URLs, whatever. This will be our first part. We want to lock this down. So we may want to completely disable comments. We want to maybe open it up to those who hash the CAPTCHA. This is up to you and how you see fit. You want to adjust it in such. And you can also actually use firewall rules. One common firewall rule I like to incorporate in my system is anything high risk. And I'll show you guys that here in a second. All right, so back at our firewall here, where all of our traffic actually comes in from our website. As you can see here, we have Hong Kong, India, Iran, North Korea, China, and Antarctica. These are continents or countries that we have enrolled into our firewall that we've determined high risk. Now, they're part of the reason is one, who from Antarctica is actually going to access your website? Two, China. A lot of ChinaNet ASNs do exhibit a lot of bot traffic, a lot of malicious traffic. Same thing goes with Hong Kong, India, Iran, North Korea, at least from the system bots I've discovered. And even then, you can see right here, I mean, there's lots of different traffic trying to hit the firewall, which is being automatically ejected. And I have that at the top to automatically deny it. And then from there, due to the rules and how they're listed in the hierarchical style, then the port forward and then allowing the traffic through HTTP and HTTPS then comes in, which is through our Kubernetes system. So, therefore, it does secure our system a little bit. It's not an end-all be-all, but it is one step to gaining a fully hardened system. Once again, in security, you can't 100% harden the system, but you can get to a point where you should have absolutely zero vulnerabilities known, you know. That's where obviously updating everything would also come into play. So, but that is going to be our next step. We want to lock this down. We want to make sure that there's no bots coming in, commenting, leaving their links behind, whether it's malicious, whether it's enlargement pills. I'm not going to get into what that is, but you guys get a summary essentially. So, okay, so as you guys saw earlier, we could comment, we could do whatever. We had no limit. There was no CAPTCHA. There was nothing preventing us from essentially spamming our platform. So what we're actually going to do now is we want to lock this down. We want to start with stopping people from being able to comment. So if we go into our settings and then discussion here, you can see there's all sorts of settings to notify blogs linked to post. If we link anything from other blogs into our posts, they'll be notified. And then vice versa, and then allow people to submit comments on new posts. This will apply to any new posts that we present. So for example, here we have a example post already, which is right here. So as you can see here, random new posts, and then we can leave comments here. And then we do have one comment that is in moderation, is a test. As you can see here, we'll just go ahead, approve it. And if we refresh, it'll show up. However, if we turn this off, save changes, it's still going to be available, yes. But, oh, not that one. If we head over to posts, come on, there we go. New post, no comment, random data, and we go into here. As you can see, we can no longer actually comment, which then would result in no further spam being prompted onto our platform. Now, if you don't need the comments, if you're just posting your blog and you want people to share it, excellent, great, fine, and dandy. But if you want to change those settings around, maybe you want to make it stricter for spam, you can do so. So we'll go ahead and allow this back, but we'll add in comment author must fill out name and email. You must be registered and logged in the comment, and then you can automatically close comments on posts older than 14 days. So if they comment today, 14 days from now, the comment will be closed and then hidden from the post. You can show the cookies opt-in checkbox, the regular, would you like cookies on this platform so we can do this and that, yada yada, that garbage. You can enable thread comments, so if you need them to if you want them to reply to each other, you could have them nest, or if you just want each comment one by one, kind of like a Twitter style, you could do it that way and just turn that off. You can break comments up. If anyone posts a comment or one is held for moderation, you can send an email, or if you want to approve the comment, you could turn this on, which then each comment that comes into your platform, you have to approve it, or an administrator of your website. If the person previously comments on your website, they may need to be approved first, and then future comments from there can then be approved automatically. If you want certain keywords, you can hold them in moderation queue and add them here. So say, for example, let's see here. First, we'll turn this off, this, leave those on, allow, and that's not even gonna matter. And save this. So just for reference, go ahead, copy this, doot. And okay. So we can't currently comment, it looks like. Add this here, add this one here. Make sure these are saved, right? So, oh, right. We must go edit, quick edit, and allow comments. There we go. Okay. Now we can, and we'll go back to our settings discussion. If we leave another comment, this is a comment with spam, woo, post. As you can see here, it is available to anyone who views our website. However, if we do spam, add it to the comment moderation box, save changes, go to our comments here. This one's already been approved. Spam, 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 comment, spam, post. And this one is now awaiting moderation because of those keywords. We added spam, which then obviously there's spam in the comment itself. And as a result, the system actually held it for approval until we went ahead and approved it ourselves. Now, we're not going to approve it because this is a dirty spammer, and we don't want any of that in our posts. If we want, certain keywords, once again, to just immediately be trashed, we can add that here. If it's certain URLs, maybe it's adult content, you can also add those here. They'll immediately be trashed. You don't have to ever worry about it. And then you can also add in avatar settings here. So if you want to show, if you want to hide them, if you want a certain rating on them, which one should show and which one shouldn't, and then a certain type here. This is more for the, I guess you could say, federation system for WordPress. Since other WordPress blogs can communicate with each other, you can show up their avatar on here, vice versa, using Gravatar, and it's all a weird system. I've never cared for Gravatar myself. But yeah, so it's all available here for you to configure, set up. Now this is just the core settings of setting up comments. Let's see here. We're gonna turn this all back on. For additional settings, if you want captchas, if you want to require registration with a certain provider, things like that, this will require plugins. So we'll get into that later on. But for now, we're just going into the core settings of WordPress and how to configure it to secure your site. So for this example, maximum security, you want them approved. They must have previously approved comments. You want to make sure your comment moderation is filled out, both this and your disallowed comment keys. And everything with your site, you'll want to keep on top of it. There may be new domains you want to add to your comment moderation. Maybe you want them immediately trashed. Just keep an eye out on what's being added, what's being commented. So if we go into the media section here, we can just modify different media settings when we upload thumbnails, things like that. Permalinks, we can define how we want our blog posts to be defined when we go somewhere. So if we want it year, month, day, if you're European, maybe you want it month, day, year. You can define a custom structure here, or you can define just a post name. For privacy, if you want to define your privacy policy page, you can create all that here, and there's a little guide for you. For the reading section, you can define what your homepage displays if it's just all your latest blog posts. If you want a certain page you've already set up, like our sample page from earlier that was automatically added. For writing, oh, that's general. Um, like I said earlier, WordPress, their mail settings are a bit weird. They prefer to use POP3. You can use SMTP. I prefer to use the plugin WP SMTP with a little pigeon guy. I think it works the best, and it works with Proton. I don't need to set up the bridge. You can choose to use that however you see fit. Um, just know that if you don't properly set it up, if you have your own mail server, you may open up a open relay for additional spam and all of that. So I would just highly recommend that before you even get into this, understand how mail works, how to properly secure it, and that your credentials on WordPress are not being leaked by ensuring that you have secure passwords and that your WordPress is up to date with the most recent version as well as any security plugins you do add in. So if you want to add in default post categories here, you can do that. You can define a certain post format. And then in the general settings, see here, you can go modify your site title. We did that earlier in the theme settings. If you want a certain tagline, which will usually show up in SEO, when you search up your website, you might see it as in that bottom subtext. If you want to define a site icon, we defined one earlier using the SOAP. And if we want to change the WordPress URL, this is usually not changeable. You would have to go into the settings on the database or in the wp-config file, because this is a Kubernetes instance. It's not going to allow that. I believe the bare metal instances do. This will change and vary depending on how you install WordPress. Your administration email address, what we defined earlier in the Helm chart. If you want to allow anyone to register, I wouldn't allow that currently as a core WordPress setup. But if you want to, you can choose to turn that on from here. And then you can define the default role, which I would leave it subscriber. Don't go ahead. You can define your site language if you're in another country, another region, and then your time zone as well. I would recommend changing your time zone only because you can get accurate results. Um, I've had it before on my site where if I see a spam comment, the date might look off, and that's simply just because the time zone is incorrect. So you can define all those settings here under the settings and general section. So once you're set up, once you're ready to go, just make sure you save those changes, and voila, you're off to the races. Now, given there's a lot more customization that will be based off of a lot of customization that will be based off of what your site is about. We'll leave that out of here. You'll have your comment section, obviously. You have your pages, which will be customized based on what theme you see fit. I prefer Colibri. It's nice. It's easy. They have a lot of little widgets and stuff that are pretty cool. We'll just get into the user section here where you can define, set up users, edit them, and change them how you see fit. This will just be the last section of our WordPress, and then in a later video, I'll show you guys a lot of the plugins I like to use, how to set them up, how to enhance the security of WordPress outside of the core features, and then move on from there. So as you can see here, we have our NerdHerd demo user, which is what we're currently signed in as. You'll have one user by default. You can edit them. You can define the color scheme of the admin bar and the navigation, essentially. You can disable the visual editor. There's all sorts of little settings here, little personalization features, essentially. You can define the site language specifically for that user. You can define the first, last name, the nickname, which will be who you sign in as. So as you saw earlier, when we were logging into WordPress, this is essentially your username for WordPress. And then, excuse me, you can define a display name. So if you want to show the username, if you want to show first, last, last, first, we can change that here. And then you can define an email. So this will be used later on for other certain plugins. Some plugins may send emails out to everyone that's in your users list. especially for newsletters. Others may use just the administration email that's on hand as we defined earlier. You can change that here. Also, password resets will also be used here. So if the user does need to reset their password, granted you have proper mail settings set up, this will all be set here. Website settings, this is usually set to 127.0.0.1 by default when you set up the website. So nothing to worry about here. This is usually meant for other blog posters. If they come from other websites, they may define it here. You can identify and add in a little biographical info. If you want to define your user, set that up, kind of add a community feeling to it. And then the profile picture will be defined based off of Gravatar settings. There are other plugins to modify this. There's simple local avatars. If you just want to add one in locally on your system, you can do that here. If you need to set up a new password, or if you need an application password, you can also set that up here. Once you've set up your user, update profile, and voila, you're ready to go. If you need to add a new user, you can add them here. And then, like I said before, you want to make sure that they have the least amount of privileges needed. If it is truly an administrator overlooking your WordPress site and you can trust them, you can give the admin privileges. Otherwise, if they're just making your typical blog posts and such, maybe editor or author is better for you. So you do, oh, no, go away. If you guys do, what? Go away. I hit stay, that's why I'm retarded. If you guys did like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below if there is anything else you guys would like me to cover. I do plan on hitting YouTube hard here soon, getting out some more videos showing you guys all sorts of gadgets and nifty things in Windows 10 and 11 with App Locker. Lots of new content coming, just been busy lately, so I do apologize about that. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, and tally ho.